going on, guys? We are back here for another edition of FanDuel Friday. It's your boy Jersey26 here, and I got my main guy here, TJ Zwarych. We're here today to bring you and break you down today this MLB slate. Get late to the season, but we know we got like a lot of guys here a lot of teams here who are positioning for playoff uh, positions and runs. So let's break it down. TJ, how you doing?
Doing very well. Talking some baseball today, talking some football. After that, we linked up for some pre-show NFL yesterday. It didn't go quite the way we hoped. It was basically a combo of the two things we said. We got some tight end usage. We missed on Amari Cooper. That last touchdown kind of dropped me right below min cash. It messed up your under bets. So it was kind of right in between what each of us needed to happen. But on to the next one. We got a baseball slate today and more football this weekend.
Yes, exactly. That's I never felt pain like that in my life. I can't like tell you, but um, I definitely miss playing DFS a lot more, which I might have to start doing more heavy instead of into the sports betting world because it's a pain. It's painful out here when you just lose all your money just on a bet like that. But nonetheless, we're here to break down this slate. We have the top pitcher on the slate is obviously Garrett Cole going against Boston. But for just for context, what is your overview of the slate too? Because obviously we got something like Cole, Otani. I mentioned Otani, Nola, Rodon. We got a couple good pitchers here today.
Yeah, it's interesting because like 2 days ago we had a super weak pitching slate. Then yesterday we had some more big names. Today we have another great looking pitching slate. So we got Rodon, we got Garrett Cole, we got Aaron Nola, we got Shohei Otani. Somebody that I'm surprised is not projecting well in the bat projections whatsoever right now is Chris Bassett, and so that's something I'm kind of interested in because sorry, right after this rant, I'll go shut my dogs up. But he was actually somebody that I was most interested today. I know Oakland's been hitting the ball a little bit better, but Bassett was probably the pitcher I was most interested in for tournaments. And seeing he doesn't project very well is kind of interesting to me against Oakland team that is definitely the best matchup among the top pitchers on the slate. And in a good pitching ballpark too. So among the top five of Rodon, Cole, Bassett, Nola, and Otani, honestly, for me, I know Lucas Giolito projects really well in the bat, but if you click on his game log, like I don't care. Like, has he put up a game this entire season where I'm gonna feel like, oh no, I didn't have Lucas Giolito, so I'm not gonna win. Maybe on a 2-game slate, but not on a big one like we have today. So honestly, on FanDuel today, I'm just going to be sticking with the Rodon, Cole, Bassett, Nola, Otani. That's going to be it. That's going to be my whole pool. What about you?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that in a way. Garrett Cole, I want to make Garrett Cole my number one favorite pitcher on the slate, but it's hard when he does go when I know how great he can be strikeout wise, but he does still tend to sometimes give up some hard contact and give up a lot of runs. But he gets there K wise a lot of the times. But like here, he got 10 Ks, but still got 36 fantasy points because he gave up 4 earned runs and a couple hits. So it's a catch 22 with a guy like him in a way, but the upside is always there for him to go off for a game like where he has 69 here against Minnesota and 62 against Oakland. So I think Garrett Cole is a nice option today. Definitely not interested in Giolito, like you said. Just that, just the scoring that he's put up is not something that I think I want to try and go with. One person I do think I kind of have a lot more interest in though. That might want to get overfield. There's a guy like Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola just because it's going against Atlanta. Obviously, he didn't pitch that well against them before, but I mean he pitched pretty decently. Not well as far as fantasy point wise. 33 is decent, but but for him in particular, like Atlanta can have days where they are really striking out a lot, and days where they are really just like being patient and hitting the ball really well. So you have to watch out for that as well. But I think we're taking a risk on Aaron Nola. It's a great option today this on this slate. Yeah, like Otani's good. I don't know how much I love him, especially with that weather in the game. It probably would
I-
help
I'd be
more.
I'd be a lot more inclined to take a shot on Otani if it wasn't for the weather. Um,
Yeah,
but honestly, like, what am I missing with Chris Bassett? Like,
I don't know. Maybe the price. I think it's the price. Like it's
but like both the like he's projected for like a fifth of the ownership of, like, I know this is early in the day, it'll adjust a little bit, but if you look at our plate IQ, if you look at the bat, you look around the industry, he's projected for super low ownership everywhere. And I think Bassett's just going to be my guy today
I,
with this Otani weather and Cole and Rodon chalk. I think Bassett's just got to be my guy.
and it's in the pitcher's ballpark, so I don't. I think honestly that it's not a bad idea to go with. So I think that helps Bass out a lot more, and it should make him a little bit more easier to go with. I think it really just has to do with the price more so than anything. He's priced higher than Otani, highest price than Nola. He's what second most expensive pitcher on the slate behind. Oh no, third highest pitcher behind Rodon and Garrett Cole. But like we understand why those two guys are ahead of him. We realistically Nola should be priced ahead of him too, but Bass has just been pitching so great lately. I think this ownership. I think it's going to change throughout the day when people start to realize the way the matchup is and the way the weather is, and also because the pitcher's ballpark more so than the hitter's ballpark out in Oakland. So I think that might change a little bit, honestly.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see the lineup we end up getting out as well. We have a few guys who have, like, in the Oakland lineup who have very, very limited sample size. So because of that, they have super tiny strikeout rates. And then a few others with a bit less of a limited sample size and gigantic strikeout rates. So it's kind of tough to see what the actual lineup is here, like looks like for Oakland statistically. But I'm definitely interested to see the amount of righties, the amount of lefties we get, because Bassett against right-handed bats this year doesn't give up any power, just ground balls, only a 21% K rate though. With lefties, he gives up more power, more fly balls, but also a 26% strikeout rate.
Mhm.
And that those fly balls aren't going to matter as much in Oakland unless they get hit real hard. So
Yeah.
Bassett, I think, is going to be my favorite tournament option if I'm playing cash, if I'm playing single entry and I'm not wanting to get too crazy. Garrett Cole is obviously the guy, but in Yankee Stadium against Boston, I do worry about him getting lit up a little bit. Now, the thing with Garrett Cole is he could give up 3 home runs in the first inning, 2 home runs in the fourth inning, and still pitch 6 innings and strike out 11 and be okay. Whereas that if that happens to Bassett, who knows if he'll last? I think Nola can last through that. Rodon, I don't really think they're gonna push Rodon if he starts struggling. Like, I think I'd rather take a shot on Cole Nola than Carlos Rodon. I really just don't like targeting pitchers against like left-handed pitchers against Arizona, or any pitchers against Arizona. Really, I have quite a bit of respect for this Arizona lineup, but we'll see the lineup we get. If we do end up getting a back half of Leplo, Alcantara, Varsho, like, there are some high strikeout guys in there. So there's power, but there's also strikeouts, and that strikeout rate for Rodon is great. So I'm really good with, like, to sum it up, Bassett I think is super interesting for tournaments, but any of these top 5 guys, except for maybe Otani if the weather doesn't allow it, like, I'm good with all of them. I'm not going anywhere else though.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this now. Just seeing the standings right here. Philly Nola might be inclined to go a little bit longer against Atlanta. Atlanta might be inclined to take the foot off the brake a little bit, make their guys get a little bit of rest, just because they pretty much have the wild card spot locked up. Philly right now, they're like a half game behind San Diego for it, so for that spot, so they can get there theoretically, that definitely for sure. Um, the Yankees have clinched their division. They're not really playing for anything. So how long is Garrett Cole going to go? That's the thing we have to start also thinking about this too. In that way, they're probably going to be the second seed in the division just because Houston's number one with 99 wins already. They already locked that up. So it's it's tough. You got to think about that too. I think that's also very, very, very important. Is the playoff positioning, the matchups, and where everyone's at and where everyone's trying to do. So, Yankees. The only reason why the Yankees probably will try to win this game is to just keep winning, but also because they want to get Aaron Judge that home run number 61, which I think comes tonight. But yeah, it's just a tough. This is a tough slate to try to predict what the pitching is going to be and how these teams are going to handle it, honestly. And I think that that's going to be very, very important to winning tonight.
How much do you think the Yankees will? Now, it was big that the Jays lost yesterday and they won. That basically close to sealed it.
Yeah.
But with their second last series of the season being a 4-game series against the Jays and then where is this here? I was looking too fast. A 3-game series against the Jays is their third last game of the series. Do you think they will start taking the foot off the brake yet?
7.5 up.
Yeah, there's only 10 games left. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I think unless like Toronto goes to some crazy hot streak and so does and the Yankees start losing, which is very, very, very possible, but I can't see that really happening. I think Yankees need maybe one more game. So Cole, theoretically, if they need one more game, Cole might be able to pitch this game out and try to steal it for them. The Mets, on the other hand, like you said, Bassett, I think is a great option now because they might have clinched the division, but they still have not. I mean, clinched the playoff spot. They have not clinched that division yet. They're only a game and a half ahead of Atlanta, so they still got to play for that too. So I like that. Go with I think Bassett probably is my favorite pitcher on this slate, like you mentioned before, and hopefully the ownership stays low on him and we'll be up on him for sure. Same thing with the Philly. I think my ranking would be Bassett, Nola, then Cole. I think for my top 3. What about yourself?
For me, at this stage, I just kind of want to wait and see lineups. I want to see how many lefties that Oakland throws out. I want to see if Ronald Acuna is still going to be out for Atlanta. If he is, I like Nola a lot more. And with Rodon, I kind of want to see how heavy of a strikeout lineup we get from Arizona today, and that'll solidify my rankings. But it's Rodon, Cole, Bassett, Nola, and if weather allows, Ohtani are solidified top 5. I'm not messing around with any of the cheap stuff.
Understandable. Me neither. So let's move on to the hitting real quick. Let's move on to hitting. Knock this out real quick. Obviously, it's a big slate. Fridays typically tend to be a big slate. I think that my strategy doesn't change on big slates. I still go 4-3s, just targeting 4-3s, 4-2s on FanDuel, and just start targeting more so of the teams that stuff at this time of year matter, like the playoffs matter to them. Unless you're playing a lot of your young guys and they're good prospects, then I'll play them. But going to certainly just try to target a lot of these guys that are playing for like a playoff spot or playing for something more. And some of these guys I do like obviously we got we're not gonna go position by position here, but we got obviously guys like Juan Soto here at the top. Mookie Betts coming a little bit high ownership as well, and obviously Judge too as well with a matchup against Rich Hill. What is your strategy? What are some of the guys that stacks you like today on the slate?
Well, the Padres are the top stack on the board without a doubt. Now, and just to be to kind of peek at things, you had mentioned Atlanta potentially taking the foot off the gas a little bit from the standings. They got that wild card spot sewed up, but in the division, they're only 1.5 behind the Mets. So they're still
they're still alive.
Yeah. So this is I agree with you completely. Teams like Atlanta, teams like Philly, teams like the Padres, these are the teams I want to be looking at throughout this last week and a bit of the season. And the Padres are in just such a damn good spot. Now they're going to be by far the most owned. They're going to be wildly chalky for a big slate, but at the same time, they're probably also have like a 20-ish% chance of being the highest scoring team on the slate, even though it's such a big slate. And so, yes, the field has a better shot, but this is just by far the team in the best spot today. We don't have a single team with a total over 5 today, and the Padres are 6.14. So they're just so clearly the best. So that's one of the reasons why I love Bassett so much, is that if we're really going to get a 5% Bassett, then I can just do a full Padre stack. I built 3 lineups right now. And I was thinking after we looked at this and the ownership on Bassett, I was like, well, would I only just rather do one bigger one and put my chips in the Bassett basket? But now I'm kind of almost just thinking like, I'll just do 3 different Bassett teams with kind of combinations of this game, so I can get a lot of different variations. So at this point, I'm thinking with my Bassett and Nola teams, that's where I don't care about the Padre ownership because I'm not as worried about getting duped. And then with my Garrett Cole teams, with my Carlos Rodon teams, that's where I'm going to start looking to differentiate a little bit, because we have tier 1. It's the Padres. Tier 2, it's Colorado. Then we have a big old mixed bag of tier 3. Like, we got to make that. I feel like that's pretty clear. Like, the Coors Field games today are just like, it's 1 big gap, 2 big gap, tier 3 teams. At least in my opinion. And the tier 3 teams I'd be looking at would be the Mets against Cole Irvin, I think are very interesting. San Fran against Tommy Henry is moderately interesting, but I am worried about the pinch hit risk. And then the Yankees at Yankee Stadium against Rich Hill. Come on. They're I feel like they don't project incredibly well. But at the same time, how are they on the bat here? I feel like they might be higher on the bat. No, see, like, they're not projecting incredibly well.
They're my favorite team on the slate.
But like I feel like they should. I feel like they really, really should. And so
I think
they're the second top stack, I think, today on the bat. I don't think they're projecting as well throughout the industry. The Yankees, I would actually probably put up in my tier 2 with Colorado.
Yeah, I like the way the weather is going in New York right now. It's in the 50s. Fall did not take any chance. Did not come here like lightly. It came here very swiftly and quick. So the weather change, I think, is playing a big factor. So I think it might be a little bit less home runs, but it is windy out here, and if it's pointing out in the field, we can see maybe potentially a spot for some big games and just a lot of hard contact. It just depends on if this can happen. But I do like the Yankees a lot tonight. Padres are definitely the number 1 team on the board. I cannot disagree with you with that. I love them today. I like Colorado as well on the other side. I think Colorado has won, if I'm correct, when I saw this stat earlier. Every game on a Friday when they play in Coors against the Padres, they have won for some reason. I think that's the stat. I gotta look at that again just to make sure. But yeah, I like both sides of that game. I like both sides of that Atlanta Philly game, even though I don't really want to try to test Nola, but Philly needs to win 2 at the same time. So to just can continue to try to stay in it. I don't mind taking some shots on a team like Minnesota here or against Ohtani. I know Ohtani definitely is obviously more talented strikeout pitcher, but he can't get blown up sometimes. So I don't mind have like a few tiny minute Minnesota sacks. But Cleveland also is another team I think I want to look at a lot of, and the Dodgers. Dodgers are definitely a team I want to have a lot of exposure to today. Some of the favorite guys. What are some of your favorite guys that you like to target here on this slate?
I have a new among my favorite tournament pitchers. That's one of the fun things about this being first look podcast show is like we're diving into this slate as we're recording this in the morning. It's 9:54 a.m. for me right now, and I'm looking at this like we have to talk about Brady Singer, and he's arguably my favorite. And so going up against Seattle today, this game is in KC. The weather's in the 60s. The wind's blowing in. in a over 100 game sample size. It's a minus 29.5 to home runs in Weather Edge, and I think I missed Julio Rodriguez. Like just getting, I don't know if it's a rest day. Is he on the injured list? What's going on? But he's out, and we currently have a projected lineup of J.P. Crawford, Mitch Haniger, Carlos Santana, Ty France, and then it kind of falls off after Kyle Rowley to Jared Kelenic, Jesse Winker, who's Frazier, and Haggerty. Now, while that doesn't seem that bad, if you take out Julio Rodriguez, all of a sudden you got a lot less danger in this lineup, and your most powerful options like Rowley and Kelenic from the left side, they got a lot of strikeouts. And if you look at Brady Singer's number this year, he doesn't give up any power to righties. He gets a ton of ground balls to them. To lefties, he does give up some power, but we're looking at a 29% strikeout rate. And so with a 29% strikeout rate, that's pretty darn good if we actually do get this projected lineup of only 2 righties and 7 lefties in the lineup. If we get 7 lefties against a cool wind blowing in game for Brady Singer in KC, I love him against the Julio Rodriguez-less Mariners team.
Yeah, and that's another option too. I just don't see this. It depends. Like, I feel like tonight this might be one with pitching. That might be the slight edge because a lot of places the weather is turning down where it's getting colder. So that means less home runs. Probably a little bit less hitting too. More like close games. So I, I'll take some shots on it. Definitely in tournaments, especially if you're max at 150. But I don't know how much ownership I'm gonna have on them because Seattle also still needs to win, and KC I think doesn't have any incentives. But like you said, this lineup is bad, and if you can see with the play IQ here, Seattle does have a lot of guys that does not have a positive matchup factors compared to negative factors matchup factors.
And I'll say like Chris Bassett and sorry to keep harping on pitching, but Bassett and Singer's strikeout props right now of 4.5 are my 2 favorite bets of the day over. I think that is just fantastic. And then the last thing I want to mention is we look at Aaron Nola's projected strikeout rate. His strikeout rate this year is 28.5. Rodon, 32.8. Garrett Cole, 32.6. Bassett, 23.3. Brady Singer, 23.9. But if you look at Bassett's strikeout rate just to left-handed bats, it's 29.6. The 2 right-handed bats in the lineup, Ty France, only 14%, but Mitch Haniger, 28%. I think we could project safely Brady Singer for like a 28% strikeout rate tonight.
Okay, that's very interesting. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm gonna play him, and I'm placing that bet too, as you said right now, before the line changes on the over 4.5 on both Bassett, on Bassett and Singer today. Let's see what happens. Bassett actually plus 5.5 over at plus money. I kind of like it, especially against against Oakland today. We'll see if the bat loves him today as well when I look after here, but. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see for sure. Some of the guys that I like targeting. Let's want to get back to some of the hitting guys I like targeting. I'm not going to mention no one from San Diego, just because I think we already know who to play for San Diego. But this matchup against Philly, for Philly against Odorizzi, it can go either one of 2 ways, really good or really bad, depending on how they are hitting. But this top half, like JT, Reese, Alec Baum, Schwarber and Harper. I love them all today for sure. I think they're a perfect tournament team. Going to be very low owned, as you can see, is tournament wise. Doesn't have the highest smash percentage, obviously, but I think that they bring some value to this. To your teams a little bit here, and the prices are not too bad on some of them here. You got Reese at 3-1, Alec at 2-7. He typically hits the ball pretty well, so I like this a lot. I don't even mind taking some shots on Stott and Segura here as well. That's my other 2 options. Yankees had said Judge is my favorite guy. I like him as a one-off, but I also do like this as a whole stack against Rich Hill. Yankees have the potential to be the top stack on any given slate, so that's why I think you can't count them out. So this whole lineup, I don't mind taking shots on. We see them just pull off a comeback. I think earlier a couple days ago, which where they were losing, and I thought they were really going to lose on a walk-off grand slam. So I love these guys today. Harrison Bader has been a nice little injection of life to them a little bit. I think helped give them a little bit of a boost. The Mets, I think, are also another team we can't sleep on too. I know it's in the pitching ballpark mainly, but they go going against Cole Irving. I know it's a little bit tough, but these guys don't really strike out a lot, like Lindor, Escobar, Kenna, Pete Alonso. These are just some low end guys that I don't mind taking some shots on. Like I guess you can say I'm a deep cuts kind of guy, especially when it comes to music. There's a music reference there because I take these chances on these low old guys because you got to embrace the variance of baseball a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm with you absolutely. And I like the Philly call. I think Kyle Schwarber is a great bet to hit a home run today, facing a pitcher who only strikes out 17% of lefties. And, Schwarber is going to be hitting the ball in the air with that 300 plus ISO against righties this year. So I love that call. Bryce Harper, I think, is a really strong play today as well. So I like that mini stack quite a bit. And then, the other teams we mentioned, it's San Diego is my tier 1, Colorado, and the Yankees is my tier 2. The Mets, the Dodgers, and Philly I like quite a bit as well. I think you can take some Toronto shots. And that's kind of mostly going to be it for me. In terms of my individual kind of home run plays that I like quite a bit for tournaments as one-offs outside of these San Diego guys, like you mentioned, I think he's going to be chalky, but I think the best value play on the slate, the first guy you want to put into cash games today, if you're still rolling with those, is Randall Grichuk at 2,700 facing Sean Manaea, especially if he's leading off like we're currently projecting. In terms of value plays, I think that would be my top option. And then outside of that, I think Vlad Guerrero makes for a very interesting one-offs, as does Teoscar Hernandez, Kyle Schwarber, like we had mentioned, and then Bobby Witt Jr., Sal Perez. I think they're moderately interesting. But my favorite kind of home run tournament call of the day today, I think, is going to be Pete Alonso.
I like it, especially in the pitcher's ballpark. It's going to be low owned. No one's going to play him.
Pete Alonso, Spidey Bomb.
Spidey Bomb of the day. And he's been hitting well lately. He's got a great series, as you can see, against Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. So I like the call a lot. They're peaking right now, almost at the right time. So I like the Mets even just to win tonight, even as well as another bet to take. And obviously, my favorite home run guy is going to be Aaron Judge, but I'm not going to give you guys just that. I'll give you guys another one. I know he's probably not going to play a lot, but give me Yordan Alvarez. Low old play. It's going to be I think it's going to be less than 10% because Houston's going to probably start pulling their guys in the middle. But if you can get one off real quick before they pull him, I think that would be a great benefit to your lineup today for sure. Any last thoughts before we get out of here, TJ?
No, that's basically it for me. It's a really fun slate today. I'm pretty excited to actually play some baseball. We were talking a little bit about having maybe a little bit of MLB fatigue. We're excited about NBA. We're excited about NFL. And MLB is just kind of winding down here. But to be honest, this is a really fun slate. And there's some fun ways to get different, both at pitching and with the bats. And I'm excited to play a little bit.
Yeah, I am too. So I'll have probably like 3 or 4 lineups in there tonight to see how I do. But good luck. I'll talk to you in a bit. We'll be going to do some NFL next. Stay tuned, guys, and have a great day.